Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. This is Doc Skinner, 1028 Live. Good evening. It's Thursday, and I always have to look at the calendar. It's the 13th of December. That's right. Wait. Let's turn all this off. Automatic pilot. All right. So I hope you're all having a great Thursday. Lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. I just don't even know where to begin. I feel like that's all I'm doing is just watching all of this stuff nonstop all over the planet. Make sure that I get this turned off. And I want to be able to, let me do this real quick. If you haven't liked or followed this page, please do so. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'm going to do some sharing right now myself. I'm going to share this to my timeline and shabam, post. You could do the same. I would be graciously, humbly appreciative. Ooh, some big words. Okay, so tonight's show is awesome because we got the one and only Natasha Nyxx from Mysterious Forces Live. She's going to be joining us in just a second. I'm just making sure I want to get rid of anything I need to get rid of in the beginning. Make sure I don't forget nothing. But we're going to be covering some cool stuff tonight. I am going to bring her in right now. So let me make sure I'm in the right thing here. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Natasha Nyxx from Mysterious Forces Live.
Hello, hey. Doc Skinner. Hello, how are you?
Doing wonderful. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. So the show is taking up. Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
How are things up in Pine Top, Arizona?
A little chilly, which is nice. That's what I love about the place. It's got seasons. We had some snow. Actually, we still have snows a little bit higher up. We're hoping for some more. So be cool for another white Christmas. That would be nice. That'd be nice. So how's it down where you are?
It's been a little bit overcast, which is unusual. Maybe not so much for this time of year, but a little cooler. But we're having average temps right in the mid 60s to low 70s. So it's the sweet spot right now in terms of the weather here. It's nice.
Nice. Well, your show is taking off. How's it feel? Be a YouTube celeb.
It feels good. I like it. It's a lot of fun. It's more work than what I thought it would be, which is okay. I'm not averse to working, but you really do it. Not only is it's like a job that you have to be obsessed with. So there's an adjustment where even when you're going about your normal daily tasks, in the back of your mind is stuff about your show. Where's my next guest coming from? That kind of thing. Right. We've gotten ahead of booking thing a little bit, but now that it's towards the holiday season, it's getting a little tougher. But we have a lot of things in store for next year, and we're really excited about that. And I don't know if you want to talk about that or.
Oh.
You're driving the boat.
Why not? Let's just, it's on the list. Let's do it.
Sure.
You're actually driving the boat on this project,
Okay. Well,
I'm the guest. So why don't you spill the beans?
Sure. I hadn't really laid out the details on my show even yet. So this is new for everyone.
An exclusive.
An exclusive on your show and not on my own show. So there you go. But I love you and I have a lot of respect for you. I like doing
same for you. Thank you.
So many people may have noticed or may not have noticed when they saw the recent Bob Lazar film, which I think might be a topic for later. But they went and that footage that John Lear got with Bob Lazar, and I don't know if George Knapp was there or not. I'm unclear on that detail. Maybe some of the viewers are out there. Maybe some of the viewers know the answer to this, whether George Knapp was with them. But on March 22nd, 1990, or was it 1987, they went out and they got the footage that was part of Jeremy Corbell's film. And you saw that UFO footage in there. And it's by today's standard, it's a little blurry and the resolution isn't what you would expect. It was film back then. So it is what it is. But I got this crazy idea because I had a guest on my show who owns a tour company that does tours to Area 51 to go out and shoot a segment at the gates, right at the gate, right at the sign that says, if you go beyond this point, we'll snipe you. Right. And I thought that would be fantastic. And so much like planting a seed, I kind of planted that in my mind and I started talking about, and I just realized that this kind of a thing is too big for like one person to go and do one show. And I thought, to make this really spectacular, I need to take some people with me. And so as a consequence, I invited you and you were going along and you in turn invited someone. Tell everyone who you invited.
Rex Bear.
That's right. Yeah. And so Rex has a relationship with a night vision supplier. Is that correct?
Oh no, that's actually somebody else.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, no, I misspoke. Okay, no,
yeah,
I misspoke.
Through Luke Walton, Travis Walton's son. But
okay, I misunderstood. But anyway, Rex
Bear we're working. Equipment. Oh yeah, I'm sure he does.
yeah. So we're gonna have night vision equipment, and I also on the invite list that I got a confirmation just tonight is Heidi Gadd from Aliens and Beyond. So it will be Rex Bear, Doc Skinner, Heidi Gadd, myself, and I'm 99% sure that my associate producer, Michael Moriarty from Pursuing X, will be with us. So that'll be a party of 5.
And, party of 5, a 3-hour tour, and he's the professor.
Area 51, party of 5, that's right. The professor and Heidi and here at Area 51. I have the stupid hat on. Does that mean I'm the tranny Gilligan? Remember, kids, only trannies can say tranny. You can't.
Oh, well. hold on.
I can't say the N word, but there are other people who can. So there are rules to this stuff.
Yeah. Hey, we've got people getting funny in the chat room. We got
hello, everybody.
We got Tyler. We got Tina. We got Michael is here, and who else? And we're here.
The professor.
Yeah, it's a good start. So, we should do a photo like that. in front of where did they really end up? The whole time they were on a little holographic deck in Area 51, thinking they were stuck on an island.
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Ooh, movie idea.
I like that.
Now we can't give away the dates though, because we don't want them knowing. We want to make sure we catch something.
I already spilled the beans on that.
Oh, but yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll see something.
They'll know we're there. Listen, here's part of the deal. We have a safety net here in that our transportation is being supplied by a legitimate tour company that they know. As a matter of fact, if you've seen the famous footage of the tour company guy that drove over the line accidentally and they stopped him all at gunpoint, made them get out because he wasn't paying attention, it exists on YouTube. That is this tour company. But I've been assured that
he no longer works.
They don't want to drive over the line. That was a shot deal. Someone's paying attention. So we will be in a marked vehicle from the tour company, going out to the location, and we're going to be dropped off, and we're going to camp overnight. And imagine the danger level there. We don't even have an escape. We're going to be left on our own, unless the tour company guy wants to camp out. And I don't know. I haven't talked to him about that yet, but we have our transportation to and from Vegas to the actual gate. So they will know we're coming. They'll know we'll be there, and they'll know it's the tour company that dropped us off. And as long as we don't step over the line, I don't think that they'll do a JFK on us.
Yeah, no, I have no intention to even. Look, there's some lines you don't cross, literally.
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
But we're doing what a lot of tourists and researchers do. We could go right up to the sign. It's where the
Absolutely.
black mailbox was, and the little alien, all that in, and
That's part of it. We'll all have footage
it's
from that.
yeah, it's not like have you seen the movie Area 51? It's a live action movie. Kids,
Is it,
they find a way to get in.
I think I saw part of it. Sometimes I get disheartened with the Hollywood take on some of that
This,
stuff.
this, I don't, they did some, okay, it's called Area 51. I saw it on Amazon.
Oh,
But it was probably the most realistic because they were on a base and I work in the biz, so I know when they're using green screens a lot. I mean, not a lot if it's really, really good, but it seemed for this price range. I actually, I think it was produced by the people that did what's the one, the horror movies. There's a series of them, and it's in their house with security cameras.
Paranormal
Activity. That producer, he did this,
Oh,
and it's really, really, really good.
okay.
So he got access to a real base or something that looks
Oh,
damn
wow.
near like Area 51, and had military helicopters come in. They spent some money on it. But no, I'll leave that to the movies. I just want to go be a tourist and broadcast and
Oh yeah. I mean,
go with you guys. It's gonna be a fun time and
oh
going to
yeah. No,
happen.
we'll see if we see anything overnight. We'll see if
Yeah.
we can get any footage and see anything weird. My personal opinion is most likely not. I think that the place is so popular now that they have moved operations elsewhere. I
Yeah.
doubt with all the tourism that anything of great importance is going
And
to be.
and if
But
we
you
don't,
never know. If it's us, we won't see anything. If it's them, they don't play by the rules. Who knows?
yeah. Well,
Because
it's kind of like just going to visit a historical place.
absolutely.
So, I'm good with just even that.
Oh yeah, no, having my picture
And,
taken by the
yeah, the picture by the sign. I got to get a shirt at the little alien.
oh yeah.
But ever before, I remember when I was talking about people didn't. Oh, it doesn't exist. It's just conspiracy theory. Way back then, when Bob Lazar, came out, and it's been a long time. I've wanted to go to this location and just say I went there.
Me too. It's like
So
in my opinion, it's a researcher's mecca. I mean, and I
it
think,
is, yeah.
and there's been so many people that have been there. I think it makes for good broadcasting. To be quite honest with you,
Oh yeah,
I think going there and doing some episodes and all of us getting some footage that we can all go share on our own channels and kind of doing kind of a co-op kind of a thing with our shows and our
cross
resources
cross interviewing.
and cross interviewing. And I've seen other podcasters and other genres of podcasting on YouTube do the exact same thing. I've seen them all get on in a van, in a tourist van, and go take a tour, and then everyone make their own episode out of it.
And I was even thinking of doing like a YouTuber type convention, getting a bunch of them together. But that's why I really like doing this because and working with other show hosts, because to be famous in the entertainment industry, you had to do something extraordinary to just put you on the map, or you had really good management that could really talk you up and get you the gig, or you had to go through a lot of auditions. Whereas here, anybody can do this if you have a webcam and a good internet connection. There's no secret to that. But
Right.
it's the fact that there's so many of us that there's nobody that's willing to try to manage all of them. So becoming a true online community and us coming together, and like I've told many people in the past, especially some of these people here in town, what can we do to help this town? I said, instead of us being individual business owners, just trying to make it on our own and struggling from season to season because we're a seasonal community.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we uplift each other and raise each other up?
Uh-huh.
by cross promoting each other's events and promotions, and they're doing that now. They have a website for the town where businesses can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that online on YouTube and other social media platforms like Patreon, um, we are the media revolution.
I believe
Now,
so.
you and I were the rookies.
Uh, no,
we are,
absolutely, it's true.
and I will say that proudly. We are the rookies, but um, these kinds, our shows snowball. But it takes people like our viewers, you out there watching us, by sharing, liking, subscribing, hitting the notification bell, interacting. Which I'm sorry, I've been talking or looking. Tyler's talking about skunk works and other things, but like this, you couldn't do this before. It was always a
Mhm.
one-way communication with the audience. Um, Eventually, what I would like to do is, I sent you a link so you could connect to this broadcast. Right now,
Right.
back in the day, if we were doing shows, I wouldn't tell you this secret, which is really no big secret, but it's a little nugget of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Zoom.
I like
It's
that. Can I wait? Can I use that nugget of knowledge?
Oh, of course. Copyrighted. Doc Skinner, 2018.
Nugget of knowledge.
Oh, are you throwing up the 666?
No, I am not. I'm
Just want to
sorry. I
make
didn't mean to
sure.
interrupt. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's
Please
okay.
proceed.
Where was I? What was I saying? I was saying,
We're
what was I saying?
talking about.
I just totally went blank.
Oh
All
my
right.
God. I just did the worst
I
guess.
wish I could rewind. We were saying, I
Oh
just
my
went
God.
completely blank. But see, I had a stroke about 8 months ago, so I have that to use as an excuse.
Uh-huh.
Crap. It was something quite great.
It
I'm sure you're
was.
taking notes, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, hold
Well,
on. Hey, someone online on the chat room, tell me what the heck I was talking about.
I love.
Thank you, Tyler.
Oh,
Thank
we are the
you, sir.
vanguard,
Got it.
the new generation
All right. Yes,
broadcasters,
yes,
and
yes,
how
yes.
we're breaking the media mold.
All right. So normally I wouldn't be like this, but how it is in the industry, they'd be like, oh, I'm not going to give away this trade secret. Here's what you can do on this Zoom program. Okay. There's a fee, but it's totally worth it because you can do the show. Now you can do this Zoom thing for free, but you can't broadcast it. You can't put it on any social media platforms.
Right.
Unless you record it, then upload it. It's not live. So it also allows you to have up to 100 guests. So you give each of them that link and you put them in your waiting room little thing. It's putting them on hold, and then you can just bring up video questions from your guests. So sorry, I got messages popping up. Anyway,
yeah.
so that's a fun new thing that I'm thinking about trying. The other thing I'm doing is, as you know, having your own show and being the boss is liberating. Same time, it can get really lonely. So, so I came up with this idea, and anybody out there watching this show, if you've got a show, go with this, do it. Zoom. If you get a lot of business, send me a check. But I'm not sponsored by them. They're not paying me to talk about this, but I just think it's a really good software program. It's what I'm using right now with you, and you can have all these added extras, people. So if like for New Year's Eve, I'd love to, if not New Year's Eve, it's the 27th of December, Thursday night. I want to have a couple guests on, maybe 15, 20 minutes per guest, talking about 2018 and then their predictions for 2019. So
cool.
I can have them like on hold if I want. And then the other thing for all YouTubers out there, if you're using Zoom and you have this ability, I'm starting a recruitment campaign. All right. Anybody out there across the planet that has a decent internet connection, a good webcam or web, a webcam phone, cell phone, and you want to stream, I'm going to send them a link to that show that night, and they can jump in. And I've got Mighty Mark from New Zealand.
Uh-huh.
He and Maggie May from Indiana are my two correspondents. And when something happens in that area, they send me a message going, "Yo, dude, 7.5 earthquake off the coast of New Zealand." Um, and then if they're there, then I'll have them go on live.
Yeah, I think
So
I saw your recent Facebook post about this. You had mentioned something about this.
yeah. So and becoming a true social media underground network
Yes.
of the people for the people. No CEOs, none of that crap. Unfortunately, no, not a lot of money.
It's too bad we don't have an independent distribution channel with the juice of YouTube, but without the corporate uh, element. But I don't think, that might be asking for too much, because I think the infrastructure that's required to have a service like that, or connectivity, at least at this stage in the game, maybe 20 years from now, you'll be able to freelance that kind of a thing. But the
Well,
infrastructure is so expensive
it
that's
is,
why
because you have to
corporations have
think every one of these shows that we do and these long documentaries we watch, that pop out every 30 seconds about everything going on every single day. You have to think about all that server space. I get it. And I appreciate YouTube on a business sense that, hey, we got to make our bills. So we're going to slap commercials on your stuff. I don't monetize my videos.
it.
I tried in the beginning, the first 2 seasons of this show, and I just kept getting strikes for this or that. And then you also have to have, I think it's like 1,000 subscribers and over 100,000 views, or some astronomical numbers, which is not impossible on YouTube, but you better have some really dandy cool stuff going on. And then once you reach that high number, then they'll say, okay, we're going to send you 3 cents for every 80,000 views that are longer than 5 seconds. And I don't have time for that. Whatever, hey, I'm getting YouTube for free. I love you, YouTube.
Yeah. That's my show's home, is YouTube.
By the way, YouTube, can you send someone to fix my YouTube, because I can't stream live? I mean, I think it was one of my shows.
Remember, it's possible. I also had an idea about that. Ask me later.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely talk about that.
But do you think they donked with you? Do you think that censorship, the tentacles of censorship, kind of
well, when you're talking to some people I've been talking to, like my first guest, John D'Souza, ex-FBI, 25 years. I just always consider myself being watched, so I try to be a good boy. I really do. Real quick, Emily Cole, thanks for joining in. Appreciate you. Natasha Nyxx is on here.
Yes, I finally found it. I kept digging around.
Yeah, Tyler's been on here just typing away. I'm sorry I've been able to read
Tyler.
Tyler. Tyler was the one who did the photos at Disclosure Con.
Oh, got it. Okay, so I'm sure we've met.
So yeah, he was running around with the cameras and stuff.
I want to compliment you on that, by the way. I said this at the time, but I will say it now to your audience. You had a great group of people assisting you at Disclosure Con, and those people were volunteering, but they really gave 110%. And I was standing around. I took photos when you guys were tearing down, because you had a time limit and you were being crushed. As soon as that event ended, you guys were packing it up and getting it out the door. And your volunteers and your people did such a great job. And you're very lucky to have a good team of people like that. And I think that's in part because it is teamwork. That's what makes your events so successful.
Well, yeah, I was very, very grateful that we were able to get everything out. Of course, it's like a pile in my garage right now, but I still haven't gone through everything. But no, we weren't even supposed to have to tear it down, but the brand new president of the Navajo Nation was coming like that morning. And so they came in going, we got to get this out now. I was like, do you see I have a full, a life-size Millennium Falcon over here in the corner.
Exactly.
You can sit on that couch. And they're like, yep, gotta go. So we got it all, but we got it all done. And then still made it to the fireside chat afterwards with the special guests. And that was a lot of fun. And Travis Walton brought his guitar out.
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking about doing this upcoming year. Everybody bringing a guitar, bongo, drum, whatever.
Oh yeah.
And we'll just do a little sing along after the show weekend. I think it'll
Yeah.
be a lot of fun. Make a little tradition.
It will be.
Because we were going to do Outside Under the Stars and all that, but little did we know it was going to snow for the first time at the beginning of
That's
October.
crazy. I loved it though. That's the first time I'd seen snow in a long time.
Really?
Yeah, because I grew up, I'm not going to get into it. I grew up in the Midwest, and so I grew up with snow and cold and stuff.
Nice.
Shoveling snow.
I had slush. I lived in Dallas.
There's the professor.
Yep.
Is he I still need this shirt. The professor is demanding
he wants
a shirt.
No.
Yes, it's true. It's true. He did not.
What's the size?
He's my producer. I must defend him.
Oh yeah. What's the size?
I don't know. Michael? He's in the chat room.
Well, he
by the way, can I do a shameless plug?
Of course. I'm all about promotion. Speaking of Katie Means, thanks for joining in. Jessica's here.
Jessica Stevens, one of my favorite people.
Yes.
Jessica, hello.
So, all right, shameless promotion.
Shameless promotion. You were talking earlier about how people can just grab a camera and do this. I think my commentary is that there's different levels, because I'm going to tell you what, and this is no lie, I have sent a lot of money into my show, and it's no joke. And it can be inexpensive and it can be expensive. And I think it depends on where you're at and what your ability is to put yourself there.
And your knowledge curve.
Right. And I come from a production background. Serdi was familiar with a lot of the equipment and stuff, so I kind of knew what to do in that sense. But I do not do this alone. I work with Pursuing X, and they help me with my social media. I am involved in my social media. I think if you look at my social media, you can tell that the really stupid shit, whoops, I'm sorry, stupid stuff come from me. And the really legit looking stuff, they help me with that. So, I'm not doing this in a vacuum. I'm working with Pursuing X, and they help me a lot. And they give me guidance and stuff. So even though I have some knowledge of the entertainment industry that I bring to this, you still kind of need, if you're going to get out there and really play the game, you have to have some people to help you and guide you and tell you when you're screwing up or tell you when you're doing right. And I think the reason you don't need that so much is because you have such a deeper background in entertainment, and you're actually producing events on your own. You've kind of made that next step to where you're used to kind of managing these kinds of events. So I don't think you need as much help probably as I do.
Yeah, well, I've always had a team. I was always in the big cities, so I had a crew to do whatever was needed. Most of the, from the early years till very recently before I left and came here, I was always a part of the team, but I did so many aspects. I learned all the different aspects, and then I got to work with the captain of the ship, you might say, of a team, and I was like, I can do this. And I love that group. They're family for life for me. But I was in things. I was doing Bud Light commercials. I was doing all kinds of hot models around all the time. It was a great life. But I was still like the assistant to the, I don't know. It just right. I couldn't spread my wings fully. It was just whatever I was given, even though everything I was given opportunities was still awesome. So I came here, and I was actually fed up. I was like, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna go up on this mountaintop and work at a resort or something, just hide in the woods and out my days. yeah, that didn't work so well. Over almost 4 decades of the entertainment industry, and you just can't get it out of you.
Right.
So I got into radio, and then just one thing after another, and then I was like, I'm still working for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
God bless them. I appreciate the opportunities I've gotten, but I just was like, I could do more. I want to do more. And not just entertain, but in so many aspects of life, with my community and whatnot, and educating people and entertaining them. And that's just my thing. That's my thing. So, anywho,
No, you're
yeah.
good
So,
at it.
so
It's a good thing.
1028 Productions, became a reality. I had other entertainment companies before, but this was the first one with, no partner, solo. I did have my co-stars, Mark M's, or MZ as we call them, and the Raging Cajun, but they move on. He moves off to Texas, and another one, he has surgery, can't come back for a while, and I'm just like, okay, well, I don't want to let this lag too long, because I let it go for 6 months where I wasn't on the air. And here I am. Now, darn it, we're supposed to be talking about you. Turn this around.
Oh,
Turn this around.
wait. Did you see what I did there, people?
Hmm.
I got the host to talk about himself.
She just pulled a Jedi mind trick on me.
I'm
All right.
I'm a
All right.
horrible
All right.
guest.
Now, you know what you just made me do? Now I got to go to my notes. You know how I feel about notes.
No, I know how
But
you feel.
luckily, I
No,
put them right above the screen.
can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Tell me, enlighten me. We had just a brief conversation before the show started, and you were telling me about these Bush funeral envelopes. And I'm going to tell everyone this sailed past me this past week and a half. I knew nothing about it until you said something. Can you fill me in? Or do you want me to talk? I don't know what.
No. Yeah,
That. I mean, what was that?
okay.
And there's
So,
footage of this.
yeah, all I can say is, there's plenty of footage. Just go on YouTube and look up Bush funeral envelopes, or passing notes, or whatever you want. And, I'm not debating on affiliation with Republican, Democratic, Independent, or anything like that. I'm just saying, in general, this is what happened. There was the funeral. The Bush family was on the front row. The presidents were across the aisle on their front row, but with a thing in front of them. Well, they both had a kneeling pad in front of them. And, Bush Jr., he passed Michelle, 2 or 3 pieces of what people say is candy. Some people say is notes. But the way they were smiling and giggling, it looked like he was just trying to be sweet so he didn't have to feel sad. And I get that. I had to do my dad's funeral. It's hard to be manly, and not break down. So on a human level, look, and the Bush family, I have my opinions, okay? But he is a human being,
Mm-hmm.
and losing someone that's family, whether or not the world thinks he's the devil or not, that's hard. So what happened is, if you watch Q, have you been following Q?
Some off and on. It's a really weird topic for me. I'm strangely on the fence, but I get it. I know why people are so.
If you actually, follow, there's one woman, and I can't think of her name right off the top of my head, on YouTube, and she's been doing this series on JFK Jr. and Q. It's majority of it, you can't deny it unless you're just in self-denial. I mean, it's right there, blatant. So Q had been saying that on December 5th, D5, something big was going to happen, and then something, or no, when they, the cabal was all scared, so supposedly they offed Bush Senior, which I don't know, but that's just what's going on the internet, interwebs. And it's like they were holding on to it. He was on life support originally before. They were holding on to a certain day, so it would be a certain number of days to create D5 as the funeral date, which means that Mueller, whatever, Mulder, Fuller, Fuji, he wasn't able to testify, giving them a few more days to get their affairs in order or hide stuff or whatever these bad people were doing.
Madness.
And so, so they're thinking, okay, well, the leader of our cabal, Bush, is gone. We made it. We got away with everything. And they're smiling and they're joking. The presidents are all joking. And then Trump comes in. Okay. Of course, he's the last one to come in. So it was already a somber thing because they're trying to get ready to start the funeral. And he comes up and, he's nice to Michelle and Obama, but they both look like, and then Trump just sits there. He doesn't even say hi to the Clintons because he knows that would just be a pain in the butt. And so he sits there. So the funeral happens. They pick up the casket and they're all standing up in the pews and they're walking. And as there's one camera that gets the shots, like, they have one camera that goes to all the networks. So right, one feed. It was that camera and they knew it was there. The Secret Service are standing right behind the bushes and they're looking at the camera, waiting to see the angle of the casket. I mean, this is all rehearsed. This was so gangster. Oh my God. It was watching it over and over again. All I can hear is the Godfather music playing in the background.
Oh, no.
And the Bush family and all of their little cohorts just get slammed all at once with these tiny little envelopes that was selectively put into their programs, their funeral programs. So that when they sat down, Hillary, I think, was the first one they caught on camera. She's on the front row. Bill is sitting over here flirting or messing around with Obama and the missus. and Hillary is just sitting here like, I'm a miserable human being. I'm angry all the time. And she slicks this up and this envelope falls out. This is on live TV, okay, on the main camera. It falls down. And I really would love to show you, but I don't want to get striked. So she takes the envelope out. And just as she grabs the envelope, Jimmy Carter is sitting right next to her on her left with his wife. And he catches this out of the corner of his eye. And he's like, oh, you see him all kind of like, oh, we get freebies. He's an old man. He's happy to get something. So he opens it up and he's sitting there. He's doing this. He's asking his wife, did you get it? And like, is it on the ground? I mean, he's looking for his envelope. Little does he know, he should be happy he didn't get it. So then you got Biden. You've got another woman sitting next to Vice President Pence. And
his
Hillary,
mother, his wife, are they the same person?
And they're all like, what is this? And when Biden's wife drops theirs, it's right when everybody's getting up and leaving. And she bends over and she's like, what is this? What is this? And he's looking at it. He doesn't even open the envelope, but the envelope's not stamped. It's just like kind of flapping. He's like, and right at that moment, Hillary is right in front of him trying to get out of the pew. And he kind of looks up at her like, what is this? And she says something to him. And all three of those people are just like that. Okay. Wow. So that's the end. So now we're back at the casket when we're walking out. As before the casket goes past George Bush on the front row, Trump and his team are walking out the side door like gangsters. I mean, there's that Godfather music. Somebody out there that makes all those cool memes when they take the movies and please do this. I think it would be hilarious. Okay. Like he's just going out like, yeah, you all thought you were getting away with it. And because there's like almost 70,000 sealed indictments, 70,000 people that are going to jail.
That's crazy. That's an insane number.
And they're all going to be done in military tribunals, not to the public's eye. There's going to be one supposedly that will, and if he's found for treason, he'll be executed in public, which I am not down for, but that's the military way. Now, here's the other thing, which I don't know if you're aware of, which you may, or I'm thinking I'm on your show all of a sudden. I'm like, and your listeners, viewers, is that Guantanamo Bay is getting a makeover and an upgrade.
I didn't know that. I had not heard that.
A week or two ago, they just sent some C-130s with 400 troops to do 100 and probably, I think it was like 100. It was over 170-day tour of duty or something. 400. These are MPs. They're building extensions to Guantanamo. They're upgrading the plumbing and everything to turn it into a Fed resort.
Right. And Cuba had been pushing them to close it.
Correct. But
And so what do? They double down and renovate.
They're like, oh no, don't worry, don't worry, we're not gonna get no more terrorists. We're gonna get American terrorists. Does it make you happy? We're gonna put the bad. Right. So that's the rumor going around. And D5, everybody at the funeral thought, oh, we got away with it. And D5Q was wrong. Nothing happened today. And they all get the envelopes on camera. And the looks on okay, so still back to the casket. So yeah, it's gone. The casket goes by, and you get that one camera shot where the guys carrying the casket, they're kind of going past the heads of the Bush family. So they're kind of see them, they disappear. They see them, they disappear. Mm-hmm. Behind them is the two Secret Service guys. They're monitoring the camera to see, okay, what can be seen. At the right moment, you see just a little nudge of Bush. He's got a folder in his hand, his other hand over his heart, and then he kind of does this, like he's hands Laura something, because you see her look down to her left towards him. Now she could be looking behind him, I don't know, but the two guys behind the Secret Service, they're already turned in another direction and have their hands like this, so it can't be that. There is speculation. In the beginning, it was the Secret Service handing her a note, but I see it as Bush. He got it early in his program book and saw it, just like Hillary and everybody else. And he had to play it off like the actor most of them are. So he made it through. And then as the casket is leaving, that's when he shows Laura, Laura Bush, his wife, right? And she looks at it. And then you see the last soldier come by with a casket, and she's looking down at it, and she is out of breath. It has taken the wind out of her because she kind of goes, and then looks at, or she shows it to Jeb Bush standing right next to her. And he's smiling because he's proud that his daddy, was given a good service. Nothing has happened. It's D5. Everybody was worried. And he even has a smile on his face just as the end of the casket is going past his row, past his brother. And Laura shows him. He looks down. He's like, he does a double take, drops his hand, and just is dumbfounded. Wow. Dumbfounded. And all of this is happening within 2 seconds, but I've watched it over and over and over again, like many people have. And you see Laura, after she shows Jeb, you kind of see her she can't even look George in the eye. She's like looking down, but she's in his direction, and he can't even look at her. And you see his lips go, yup. And then he drops his head in shame.
Wow.
It's going to go down in history as I'm telling you, Godfather music, the whole way through. So that's what's going on with the envelopes, and nobody for sure seems to know exactly what is said. What was early on speculated by resources, supposedly online or through whoever, was that Jeb was shown a picture of their homes on a CCTV camera, security camera, being raided by the feds during the funeral.
Oh, wow.
The other is that they opened it up and it said Guantanamo Q. But that's speculation. But still, both of them are really cool.
Yeah. No, that's some crazy.
Yeah, I thought the Bushes were cool, but anyway. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to show my affiliation to any side. My bad. That's what I'm trying to do on my show.
I think it's okay to say that.
Yeah, it is, but like I said, doing these shows by yourself solo, you sleep like this.
Right. No, I try to steer clear of the politics as well, because I don't want any show to get dragged down in that, unless that's what the show is about. I mean,
Right.
that's another story, but
So
it gets so easily derailed these days. I don't even want to go there. To me, politics for my show is radioactive.
right.
Don't go there.
Yeah. And it's hard because when you're talking on this show,
It is.
you
It's
lose
hard to talk
yourself
about
into the
conspiracies and
one-on-one
not get political.
yeah, well, because you get into this one-on-one communication, forgetting there's an audience, and
Right.
yeah. So it's a tap dance sometimes, and I don't want it to be a fully restrictive tap dance, but yeah. All right, hold on. We got a bunch of messages that came through.
Oh, do we? Oh,
Michael loves working with you.
Jessica
You still got a
Stevens.
team brother for life.
Jessica.
Yeah, there's a meme out there that shows the perfect example of media brainwashing. It's focused on fake news outlets and is broadcast from like 15 media outlets. And other than the news outlet channels and call sign, the broadcasts are exactly the same. Oh, yes. Have you seen that video that shows all the news channels across the country doing the exact same verbiage?
Yes, and I can tell you who's behind that. Sinclair Broadcasting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look
And
up
this was
Sinclair Broadcasting, folks.
the last episode of 1028 Live. No, I don't even know who they are. So whatever.
And then this one time at Bain Camp, the secret cabal.
Oh, yeah. That was a pretty good freeze.
Did you like that? Tyler Brooke Thomas says, Natasha, you are horrible. Get off the internet. Thank you, Tyler.
Oh, Tyler.
He didn't say that.
Oh, I was about to go hunt him down and beat him with a wet noodle. Problem is, he probably dig that weird stuff. Okay.
I'm full of BS.
Yeah, no, Tyler's a good guy. All right. So and Jessica's been quiet, but I hope she's still stalking us because I like it when she watches. People. All right. And then Jessica. Emily. Who else? Oh, Jenny Lynn Ballard joined. I guess I missed that earlier. I feel bad. All right, so good. We've knocked out parts of the list. We did Area 51 trip. We talked about Bob Lazar, right? Did we?
We danced around the topic.
We danced around it. Well, we did hold on. So we did the funeral. We did
talk about the CIA documents that I had found and I got excited about.
Yes.
Yes. So I got really excited about these CIA documents that came up in my feed, and it was the project. What was it called? Hold on. Stargate. That's right.
Yes,
Project Stargate. And I started looking at that, and I have to admit, I did not know that stuff had come out last year, and I got real excited real quick because I went to the CIA website and I started looking at this stuff, and I was like, oh my God, started dishing on this stuff online a little bit and sent it around. And it was new to me. So my excitement level was kind of like up here. And then some of my friends kind of came back with, oh yeah, I kind of saw that last year. And William Pullen was one of them. He was like, he said, get with this is so last year. And William Pullen did not say that. He's a nice guy. Yeah, it came out last year, but I still enjoyed seeing it. And if you have not seen these documents, I think you should take a look at them. There's all kinds of science or research that they did into psychokinesis. This is the U.S. government. Yeah. Parapsychology, psychokinesis, remote viewing. This was their remote viewing program. And you hear so much about the CIA remote viewing program, but then it just sounds like BS on the surface because, sometimes, and I think perhaps this is on purpose, the government seems so square and so backwards that they couldn't possibly be hip enough to look into something like psychokinesis. But it turns out that they do that kind of research and remote viewing as well and other kinds. And they have actually had spying programs based on this human consciousness based technology, I suppose I would call it, or a technique. And I think they had varying degrees of success. I think sometimes it was very successful and probably more successful than we might imagine. And then I think they probably had some utter failure somewhere along the way. And I think it was a wash in the end that probably a satellite does more for them than what remote viewing ever could have done.
Well, I have got some information for you about that that will blow your mind.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
yes, if I was going to write it here to tell you later,
Oh,
just in case I do forget, because I've been forgetting in the middle of my sentences.
I
Have you?
guess this was part of that big document dump when they dumped millions of documents last year.
Yeah,
And
Major Ed Dames was a part of a lot of that, and he was the guy that he was like one of the leads in the remote viewing team that was a top secret project, and he reported directly just to the president of the United States. He had the nickname of
wow.
Doctor Doom because when he came into the Oval Office, everybody would leave. They knew what he was going to say was true. But
Yeah,
here, since aliens and all this, check this out. So um, when Clinton was president, do you remember when the military bases started shutting down across the country?
I do that, and
Okay.
that crossed my mind when you were talking earlier.
Yes. Now, before that time, do you remember there was always military convoys between military bases on the highways?
Indeed,
Okay.
I actually knew some people that were drivers for such.
Yes. So Major Ed Dames walked into, now they had known about an event. He coined it the kill shot. They thought it was nuclear holocaust all across the planet at first. And then they realized, no, it was our sun going on a rampage with these big solar flares that, wipe out the electric and, there's just bad stuff everywhere, earthquakes and whatnot. So, being that they had an amazing track record,
Mhm.
the president went, okay. So that's when they started shutting down those bases and started building all the underground tunnel systems connecting them. Hence why you don't rarely ever see, once in a while you might on a cross country trip, but very rarely will you see convoys anymore on the highways. They're either on the trains or they're underground. So yeah, and the trains
Makes
with all
sense.
the gear. Yeah, yeah. So anywho, um, there's that.
Yeah.
But I was sitting here, I'm staring at this. I've been wanting to tell you this. Do you have the ability to type in a web address?
Right now, live.
Yeah, can you? Like,
Yes. Stand by.
all right.
Yeah, I
Now
can.
I don't want you to type this in Google. I want you to go into the HTML or HTTP web address,
Okay.
blank it out,
All right.
and we're going to type in a word.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you know how the powers that be, the Illuminati, the Cabal, they do everything in mirrors. Their invitations are written in reverse. You have to look in a mirror to read it, those kind of things.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people are saying that Trump and Ivanka are mirroring JFK and his wife with everything they're doing, the way they dress, anyway. So I want you to type in the word, now don't type it yet, but it's the word Illuminati.
Okay.
But you're going to type it in backwards. All right. I'll spell it out for you and everybody that's watching. Okay.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
So go to
Ready.
www dot.
www dot.
Okay,
I'm there.
now we're gonna type this backwards. It's gonna be I
I
T
T
A
A
N
N
L
L
M.
M N.
Oh, wait. Hold on. It's ITAN.
Let's see.
Wait,
ITAN.
is that three I's in there? Illumin. Yeah. Okay. I crossed one of these as a T like an idiot. No, that's right. ITANLMULLI.com. It's Illuminati backwards. Now hit enter.
Okay. I hit go.
Uh-huh.
And okay. Wow. Weird.
Yep.
Tank Mully.
What? Where are
I
you?
got something really weird. Yeah, you know what? It's weird. It did this strange web helper. It took me to CenturyLink.
Oh, wait. Hold on. ILLUMI, not an L. Okay, do it again. Sorry, folks. Can't even read my own writing. Dot.
This is what live entertainment is all about.
You never know what you're getting,
Saturday
folks.
Night Live.
You're right. So it's ANI
ITANI.
MULLI.com.
Okay. I love this. What would be the song? I was trying to think of the Jeopardy music.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, fuck. Oh, it's the NSA.
Right?
Oh, that's not something you want to see on your phone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that F-bomb, folks. That was authentic. That was not planned. That was
No.
the shock of seeing the NSA on my phone.
Yeah.
The Illuminati backwards is the NSA.
Right. All right. So the CIA.
How did you know that? How did you? No, wait. You can't just let that go. How do you know about that?
It's been around a while. People have known about it, but they
Oh.
leave it. So it is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Eventually, everybody's going to realize it's all the real deal.
Ingo Swann, Michael Moriarty was saying.
Michael Moriarty. What do you say?
He dropped Ingo Swann's name, who was
Ingo Swann. Yeah, he was
Richard Dolan's, and he was the famous remote viewer.
Mhm.
He was like the grand poobah of
yes.
remote viewing.
And Ed Dames was his protege. He was his second in command. And so I always thought it'd be cool to meet him. But Dr. Courtney Brown, who's also a remote viewer, heads up the Farsight Institute. It's farsight.com or .net. I have to look it up. But they've been doing something amazing for the past 2 years. Totally grabbed my attention.
Oh.
It makes me wait for the end of every month. Because what they do is he's training younger people to do it out of Atlanta. And they're, all you get your 2 4-digit coordinate numbers, right? So they get that, and they're in a room by themselves with a video camera and a marker board, and they sit there and remote view. And so one of the projects they were doing was called the Time Cross Project. And what it consisted of, because you can't tell time with remote viewing, and how they mastered that. Okay, this is getting ready to come up. We don't know what time of day or day it's going to happen, but we know that it's the next big thing that's going to happen, because all the pre things that we've remote viewed, saying, okay, what's going to happen before that? What's going to happen before that? They built a calendar of events with no specific dates. And as we get closer, they know. But where was I going with that? Were you paying attention this time?
I was paying attention this time. You were talking about the remote viewing, where they were going with that in terms of the program.
Oh yeah, and I'm going to digress. See, I look back and I see how scatterbrained I am. It's not that I'm scatterbrained. It's just it's going. Ingo Swann, thank you, Ingo Swann. Yeah, so he was there. And they came to him because they were like, hey, the Russians are doing this. We need to do it too now. We thought it was a joke, but it's for real. And so they started the remote viewing team. And Ingo Swann was the godfather of remote viewing. What he was able to do was find the commonalities, the standard operating procedures, you might say, in different psychic abilities that could allow you to see into the past, the present, the future, anywhere in time and space. Because time is irrelevant. That's another show. But anyway, I said time is irrelevant, and it threw me off again. I see I'm going all over the place.
Swann and the Russians.
Yes.
Ingo Swann and the Russians.
So Ingo was able to get the standard operating procedure down so that any, at that time, soldier or government official could do this. They found out that there was a really high success rate. Unfortunately, the movie industry made fun of it through the movie Men Who Stare at Goats. True story, but like most movies, it's embellished. There is an amazing movie called Suspect Zero with Sir Ben Kingsley, where he plays a remote viewer in the movie.
Have seen that.
And Major Ed Dames makes a little cameo in where he's like watching a training film, and it's Major Ed Dames
Oh,
doing stuff.
really?
Yes. Now, here's how, now I've talked to a lot of people in this field. They're
Mhm.
all my friends, but I do have ones that don't really like each other.
Oh, really?
That's just it's the way it goes. So I have to walk a fine line because I like to be the bridge maker, the one that brings people together,
Right.
never be a wedge. So I may have guests on here that, for example, I had my comedian friend Michael Loftus come on the other night.
Mhm.
Definite I guess, far right Republican or whatever you want to call it. I hate the labels. I just want to be called the true American Party. That's it. That's all we
Yeah.
need. If you're not in the party, get out. Just leave. But anyway, uh, yeah.
You
Wow, I
just
am going.
want the Russians and the
Yeah, yeah.
protocol
So,
to say
so
hey.
anyway, it all set up, and his cover was Boone Spender on Johnny Carson. So
Okay.
here's that. And I had the opportunity to hang out with Ed Dames, and I was only doing that preference because I have friends that don't like Ed Dames, and Ed Dames
Okay.
doesn't like people I know. So I'm this guy in the middle.
Well, that's a
Anyway,
tough position to be in.
it is, especially doing a show, because then you
Mhm.
might have that guest going, "Oh, well, you had so and so on your show. I don't want to do that." Well, okay,
I
that'll
took a
keep.
couple of arrows for saying on my show that I like Jimmy Church,
Yeah,
but I stand by that. I'm not trying to derail you. Ingo Swann, the
yeah,
Russians,
oh, yeah, yeah.
and
So that happened, and Ed was his protege. Um, And I had the opportunity to spend like 22 hours with this guy at an event because he's brilliant. Him and his team, where they came up with it was a top secret program, and they couldn't even tell their families. It was like black top secret. And um, when they knew about this event coming up, they people need to know, but we can't because it's top secret. So, not saying by them, but somehow the project leaked out.
mm,
From that point,
okay.
people started retiring. Ed Dames was one of them, left the military.
Okay.
And because it was out there, it was declassified, not the missions.
I was going to say, did they cut funding to the program at some point?
Oh, they had all the funding they needed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Back then it was black ops money. Um, so, I mean, the military still uses them,
Hmm.
but the ones that were in the original teams, they all went different ways and started. Well, Ed Dames went on Coast to Coast AM over 20
Yes.
years ago. And I
Hmm.
remember I listened to this first episode he was on. And he goes, "Yeah, I can talk about the process of remote viewing, but I can't talk about the missions. I can give you some hypothetical scenarios, but that's about it." And that's all he could do. Seriously, he was
Mm.
limited, but he was brilliant. He said he had an idea. He goes, "I'm going to teach the public how to remote view." So he would do like 300 people in a hotel ballroom, and he would teach them how to remote view that whole day. And then at the end of the day, he would give them like test run numbers.
Uh-huh.
Those numbers were actual missions. Now, the numbers are random, not the same as that they were when they were doing the missions. It's just the thought process that he put into those numbers, put it in the cosmos to attach it to that scenario. So now he's got 300 remote viewers in a room, remote viewing the Kennedy assassination or 9/11 or whatever, getting
Right.
300 different news reporter perspectives,
Oh, that's
of the situation, making it come out. Now, because he did not say anything, okay, he didn't give away the same quadrant numbers or remote viewing numbers as they were when they were, missions or whatever. Didn't do that. These people remote viewed that scenario, wrote it all out, and now that secret's out there, and he can't get in trouble.
wow.
He didn't say anything.
Wow.
The public remote viewed it. He just gave them he showed them the skill set. So brilliant. And then now there's millions and millions of remote viewers around the world, that work for big companies. You ever wonder why one computer comes out 3 weeks later, it's another super duper computer, even better and faster?
Mm-hmm.
They're looking ahead to see what the next big computer is and what the next fashion is, and then they're making it, they're designing it.
Well,
That's why I think things, I think I'm realizing this just now. I think that's why things seem to be going faster, because with those abilities and skill sets with big corporations and government entities and all this, and them seeing what's happening, they are using that like a script and force feeding our future to us. Wow, that sounds really good. I need to write that down. I think, yes, that makes a lot of sense to me right now. I feel like we're being force fed our future and it's being pushed on us so quickly. That's what's like, oh, wow. It's like things are just getting more powerful, faster, stronger, more advanced. And as we're getting more things accomplished in one day than we used to take us a month to get done.
Right.
I think I had an epiphany.
Well, how much do you accomplish these days? And I'm not turning the question on you. I'll comment. I'll do the proper guest thing. I often think about how much a cashless society is going to contribute to that scenario, that prepackaged future. Because let me tell you something, folks. I mean, I know you think about it, and if you're watching this program, you probably think more than the average person about these types of things. But how much shopping are you doing online now? When you go to work, are you getting your check direct deposited into your checking account? Are you then going and taking your card and buying your groceries and going on Amazon and having things delivered to your house and ordering things online? And how much actual cash actually flows through your hands these days compared to 5 years ago, compared to 10 years ago? And if you're old enough, 20 years ago, how much cash actually goes through your hands? Very little. I'll tell you what, they're going to lock this down with a cashless society. Sooner or later, they will. They'll use a terrorist event. They'll use a false flag event, something. They'll come up with some reason about why cash is dangerous. They might even put a toxic substance on cash. And I think that's like, I don't ever want to see anyone do that. I'm not trying to give any bad ideas, but I mean, something similar to, a big false flag event where there are casualties or injuries or some kind of meltdown within the financial system where they're going to say, look, this is no longer safe for us, but let's all go to a cashless system and you're going to earn credits from now on or whatever, where everything is going to be digitized. And I don't want to live in that world myself. I like cash. I am still a person that goes, and if I have money in the bank, I'll still take out a bunch of money and carry the cash on me and spend the cash, and I have nothing to hide, but at the same time, I really don't like leaving electronic record of everywhere I shop and everything I buy. And that might sound a little bit silly to some people and sound a little bit paranoid, but I'll tell you what have you been hearing about the Marriott hotel systems having their system hacked and having millions of people's information taken? Target, Marriott, we can go down the list. There are so many hacks these days. I don't believe that any digital information anywhere is actually secure unless it's a self-contained system sequestered somewhere and it's not actually online. The only real safety is a closed circuit network.
And
not accessible to the larger internet.
Yeah. It's there is no security. That's why I don't have top secret documents or anything on my computer. It's just like
I do.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, doing what we do.
Feds.
Yeah, I've got some interesting contacts and had a visit. That was kind of interesting.
Wow.
But it was a positive one. It's just I'm like, you're coming to me about this? you know? I'm like,
that's crazy.
Can I stand next to you during the Nobel Peace Prize? That kind of thing.
Right.
It's little old me with my little webcam. So
it happened.
It does, and with great power comes great responsibility, and I believe in that strongly.
Me too.
So that and it's, I'm not here to make some money. I could make some money. My mother's saying, no, you need to make money, which she's right, but so send us your money to the mysterious forces live in 1028. You'll
My
be a better
Patreon.
person for it.
I don't have Patreon. I'm gonna put a website up next year, and I'm gonna have subscribers, and I'm gonna offer some stuff through subscription. But I'm not even gonna do the Patreon thing. I want to be completely independent. I don't want anybody to have
Strictly.com.
fingers in this stuff. So I think self-contained is the way to go these days. So yeah, I mean that's the future of this show or my show rather. And I'm in some things. This stuff is not easy, and it's just like a Disclosure Con. Okay, I was there and I watched, and I've been involved in event production, and I kept a close eye on you, even though I had my own concerns and things to deal with. I watched you and your folks work there and see how things went down, and it's an incredible amount of work, and to meet a schedule like that. I mean, do people out there really know what it's like to try to get 25 people to do one thing that you want them all to do? 25 people.
Right.
It's like herding cats in a rainstorm. It's like, but yeah, like I don't want to undersell the help. I'm just saying, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of willpower to organize an event and have things run smoothly. And these shows are no different.
Yeah.
So, I made this a career choice. I was thinking about going back to school. I was thinking about being a licensed clinical social worker. I was like laying out some areas here, and it was like, and I started watching this, and I was like, you know what, I can do that. And for me myself, it was like the technology was available at this level, and the internet made it so that there was a true democratization of the media, and that the average person with minimal investment could get access to this and have a platform and have a voice. And this is a revolution, and this is a great thing. And this right here, folks like you being able to have your own show, folks like me, our other YouTubers, and people who are not on YouTube but have other platforms. This is the revolution of the future. This is how information will be exchanged as we watch the mainstream media's influence over people.
Whoops.
We'll see these underground channels, much like what you're talking about. You're going to have your own reporting worldwide on events, and you're going to be able to bypass the mainstream media. And that's taking the reins of this and no longer being led around by the nose by mainstream media or corporations, but turning that around.
Yeah, eliminating the filter,
Exactly.
Or censor.
I didn't mean to filibuster there.
No, you're the guest. Filibuster away. Well, I mean, you got any things coming up? I mean, I know you did Alien Con. Do you got anything else?
Well, I have the Prepper Expo in Pinetop, Arizona in May.
Oh,
but before that,
very nice segue.
I'm looking forward to that. I know. And you know what? It's where sci-fi and sci-reality collide under one. Oh wait, no,
that's Disclosure Con.
That is Disclosure Con. I do have something coming up. I'm going to I kind of tease this on my show, and this is interesting. I don't want to talk trash on somebody I admire, but I'm a big fan of Peter Murphy, who's the lead singer of Bauhaus, and they're doing a 40-year Bauhaus retrospective, and David J. from Bauhaus is playing bass with Peter, and I'm Facebook friends with Mark Gemini Thwaite, who is one of Peter's go-to guitar players for touring, and I think they did an album or two together as well. So they have a long history together, and I've been Facebook friends with Mark Gemini Thwaite for probably at least 3 years now, and I follow his exploits, but I kept bugging him, and my show was growing a little bit, and I finally got a hold of him, and I'm like Facebook friends with his girlfriend, and they're just really cool LA goth people. They're like beautiful, statuesque people doing the LA thing. And so it's like, it's very fun to live vicariously through their Facebook feed for me.
Right.
Like, wow, look, they're skinny enough to wear those clothes. But anyway, so Mark Gemini Thwaite is this great guitar player. He's played for the Mission UK, and he played for Gary Newman on his last tour. He plays for Peter Murphy. And they're coming to Phoenix January 25th. And so the professor and myself are going to go down to the show. We already have our tickets, and we have it arranged that we're going to be doing an interview with Mark Gemini Thwaite. And not backstage per se. The word is Peter Murphy doesn't like people backstage up in his space, but we are going to find a space, and we're not going to live stream. This will be pre-recorded, and we'll go down there and we'll do that interview, and we'll be putting that out. So I'm looking forward to that. And as a segue with that, I just saw this evening, like maybe about an hour before you and I started this show, Peter Murphy got arrested last night for throwing bottles into the crowd at his concert over in Europe. And he apparently there's conflicting accounts coming out. One is that he threw a bottle and hit a fan in the face and injured them. And that seems to be true. I don't know the extent of that. But the other story is that he threw, the sound was kind of crappy. So he threw a bottle of water at the sound engineer, and it hit the sound desk and fried it and ruined it and ended the show early. And there is a picture of Peter Murphy online, face down on the concrete behind the venue with them putting the cuffs on him, and he doesn't look happy. He looks a little scuffed up. So Peter Murphy threw water bottles into his own crowd, and it might be something he does. I can't imagine that Peter Murphy himself wanted to hit someone. Like, no one says, hey, this person paid a ticket to come and see me, so I'm going to peg him in the face with the bottle. But who knows, maybe it was maybe he had a little bit too much wine and was a little bit careless with what he was doing, and was irresponsible as well. I haven't heard any detailed reports. I don't know. So there's a little bit of drama going on with not Mark Gemini Thwaite himself. I'm sure he's doing his job, but Peter Murphy got a little bit of trouble in Europe. So that's going on. That's January 25th. I might have a side mission to somewhere else, but I'm waiting to find out about that. And that is, I haven't talked to anyone about that yet. I got to flesh that out, but it involves Alan Steinfeld, if that rings a bell. So I'll keep people posted about that. And then really the next big thing is us organizing this trip to Area 51. That is huge. Right. And just getting 5 people to be able to commit to a trip like that is a lot.
3 show hosts with their own shows. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Trying to
4, right? Because Breck has a show, doesn't he?
Yeah.
On YouTube. So Heidi has a show, I do, and you do. Yeah. And then Michael, he's in the business behind the scenes. He doesn't have everybody. He knows everybody.
Yeah.
Michael Moriarty and everybody.
The professor.
The professor.
Would be awesome.
Anywhere in this business, you got to go through him. He's the Godfather.
Yeah.
He's the
him and the missus. Yeah. They, yeah, it's awesome. So, all right, let's see. There was something else I was going to mention, and we just kept talking, and I forgot.
Is it funny or good? We didn't talk about the Bob Lazar movie yet.
Oh, yeah, let's chat on that. So you got to see it. I haven't seen it. Now I know his story. I saw his original interviews back in the day.
Okay.
When he went by a pseudonym.
I
think
Dennis.
Dennis, that's right. So I remember seeing those when those were being revealed. So watching the progression of it and the stories of, that's all I know. Now, did you know his baseline story before you saw the movie? Was there any huge revelations of, oh my gosh, I did not know that?
There were some details. I'll tell you what I got from the movie. What I got was a personal look at Bob Lazar. There were some small details in between that I didn't know about that were revelations. But what I really got out of that was watching Bob Lazar tell his story, see the look in his eyes, and see him tear up when he's talking to Corbell at one point, and to see the emotion in his eyes, and to hear the tone of his wife's voice when they're talking about their kitchen. That's what drove it home to me. And to also know that, they had the SWAT team do a raid on his business during the filming of the movie.
Wow.
That actually happened. That might be something. So they had raided him once before, And so this time they said they were looking for an invoice, and SWAT and everybody came in, and they came in hazmat suits and everything, and they poured over his business with a fine tooth comb. I would like to see some FOIA requests done on the police raid on United Nuclear, I believe is the name of Mr. Lazar's company. And the feds and the locals raided it. And I'd like to see some police reports. I'd like to see a little bit of detail on that. But I guess it was interesting. I think one of the things people have seen so much as part of the film, the outtakes anyway, is Lazar drawing a picture of the sport model and explaining how it all worked. And I kind of, it's one thing to hear it on coast to coast, like when you're listening to it and you use your imagination, and then you see some pictures and stuff. But to hear someone talk about it and articulate the technology and how it worked and draw a picture at the same time, and then explain the mechanics of how that worked, it made it all make sense. Something that seemed kind of abstract and maybe a little too fantastical to just kind of hear it and imagine it became very real, and seeing him just explain it. And then it was kind of like, even though obviously the technology is exotic, it makes perfect sense. It's rational, it's logical. And the fact that he had been talking about element 115 years before it was ever created in a laboratory. It's unstable in laboratory. We haven't created stable 115 yet. But the fact that he had predicted that, not so much predicted it, but talked about it, and then it came to pass.
Yep.
That's incredible. And I will say this, I think I was on the fence about Bob Lazar, because like everyone else, I had questions about his background and whether he had actually gotten his degrees where he said he had gotten them. And then, you know, I wouldn't have doubted that Los Alamos would deny that he worked there. But then, of course, he's in the directory for Los Alamos, proving that he worked there. And so there were some witnesses in the movie as well that also talked about knowing him and knowing that history with him, and kind of corroborated his story a little more. So I went from being on the fence about Bob Lazar, thinking, he's kind of iffy, but I really like his low-key style, like the way he's not really searching for fame, but just kind of being this average guy. I went all over to completely believing him. I saw a man who was telling the truth. I saw the emotion in his eyes. I see what his family's been through. And when he looks into the camera and says he doesn't really care about it, and that he basically just wants to be left alone, I believe him. I hear the truth. When I see that man talk, I hear a truth teller. I don't hear a liar. So I don't care about those controversial details, because I think there are explanations for those things. And being a nuts and bolts person in ufology myself, you know, I always want evidence and I want proof, and I don't want to just believe in something or in someone based on faith or on an emotional decision. It has to be fact-based. And so I think if you're going to be completely rational and cold that way, you have to maintain some skepticism about Bob Lazar, because some of the details don't pan out. But if I were to use my intellect and my intuition together, which I'm doing in this case, I have to say I believe Bob Lazar. So the Corbell's film did its job. If that was its goal, was to show a picture of Bob Lazar and perhaps change people's minds about him, then it succeeded with me.
Very nice. Well, I'm excited to check it out. I did see Hunt for Skinwalker, the director's other movie that he just put out a few months back. And when that came out, I was in talks with someone about doing just that. And so we're going to wait a bit and maybe come at it at a different angle. But I came really close to having a weekend at Skinwalker Ranch. So yeah, that's another thing on my bucket list. So now you are going to be up here in May, right?
I am. And I was going to ask you, it's not really proper for me to do this because you're driving, you're the host, but I was going to ask you
if, well, I'm all over the road tonight.
If I may be so bold as a guest, I would like to ask you a question. is the Prepper convention going to look like and operate like Disclosure Con did, or is this going to operate in a different way? Is this going to be radically different?
Well, there wasn't going to be speakers, but then I got some amazing speakers that said, "Hey, we want to speak." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So, I mean, they're awesome. I can't say no. Um, and it's not gonna be a 12-hour day like I did Disclosure Con, and I won't ever do Disclosure Con again like that. 8 hours minimum or maximum. That was just too long of a day.
Yeah, it was
2 days in a row. It was a dress rehearsal. That's how I just see it.
No, it was good. I'm not.
No, it was. I'm very proud of how it turned out.
Would you put the vendors and the speakers in the same room again, though? I mean, did you? I don't think you had a choice, but if you had a choice in the future, would you separate those two things?
When the crowd gets to a size that, like say 1 year it gets to where there's 700-800 people there all at once, for a consistent amount of time, then it would make sense to have that entire room blocked off and just nothing but chairs, because I knew I was bringing in speakers that could fill all those chairs. And if we were in the city, that would be a lot easier. It's pulling teeth being up on the mountain because you got to get the people here. So,
correct.
Yeah, it's probably going to be the same. But I found out about a conference room in the resort that I wasn't made aware of the first time. So we might use that as well. I know we're probably going to be using it for the expo for like workshops and stuff.
My advice, if you ever go to a convention and you go into a conference room or an empty room and you see a plug without a label, or unplug.
Yeah.
For those who might be saying, Natasha, what are you talking about? At Disclosure Con, I was getting ready to do an interview with Travis Walton, and I was super excited because I'd been chasing Travis Walton for a long time for an interview, and this was coming to fruition. So I go into this sequestered side room with a couple of couches and a lamp. It's, it looks a little more domesticated, right, than just this.
There's a little media room I set up.
Yeah, you set up a media room. It was good. I thought it was classy and good and all that. And so I'm getting set up, and I need this outlet. I had brought a light, and we needed some power in a particular place. And so I see this black cable plugged into the wall behind the table and the lamp, and there's no label, doesn't say anything, and it goes over. And I don't know if you've been to a conference center, dear viewers, but you know how they have the modular partitioned walls where they can kind of separate off a room however they want. Well, this was the way this was. So here are these modular walls in place, and this cord just goes back in a crack and disappears and goes to nowhere, way back the other direction. And I'm looking, and I kind of do, and I make a judgment call. I'm like, well, I don't know where that's going, but it doesn't look like it's anywhere important. There's nothing back that direction. What could that be? So I'll just and so I go over and I unplug it, and I plug my power strip in. I'm plugging my light in, and I needed something from out front. I forget what it was, but I left the room, and
you're going down the hallway.
And I'm going down the hallway, and all of a sudden I see you and 3 other people running as fast as you can past me. You're like, what happened? And I go out and I see that Mike Barra's lecture is shut down, and that the stage is dark, and his computer and everything was down, and he was standing there with egg on his face. And in that moment, I realized that I had cut the main juice to the stage for Mike Barra's presentation and had ground the whole damn thing to a halt. So I felt like a giant heel on the inside, like you see it in the movies or in the cartoons, like when Fred Flintstone, he'd just get real small, like I just shrunk down to microscopic. I was like, oh my God, there goes any chance of ever doing an interview with Mike Barra. But so yeah, and you guys were scrambled, but and then you had to reboot everything. So it wasn't like you just plug it back in, everything comes back on. It's computers and everything, it's projectors. And
But what was classic is that it was serendipity. It happened right when he is at a pinnacle. He's got everybody in the audience on the edge of their seat, jaws open, going, "What?" And then he's about to say something, and boom, everything goes black.
The Dark Alliance
And then
cabal strikes.
within an eighth of a second, you hear people going, "I told you they don't want us to know."
Nope, it was me. It was me. There was a goober in another room. There's a plug. So yeah, that was my contribution to Disclosure Con.
Yes.
I had a great time though. I made some friends.
You made an impact.
Yeah, not annoying.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. No, I told you, you were all worried. I was like, look, we're gonna laugh about this. This is hilarious.
And
So,
then fate would not leave me alone. Okay, because not only, and this is something I do. I'm not bragging, but I will say this: I took responsibility. I walked to the front of the room and apologized to Mike Barra to his face in front of everyone. It was not with a mic in my hand, but I just went to him and I spoke to him directly and I apologized, and he accepted my apology and he was very gracious about it. So, but I did take responsibility. But then, like when it was checkout time the next day, what happens? I'm with Mike Barra and we're both there to check out at the same time. So we still have to kill another 10 minutes of standing in line. And I looked at him and he goes, "Don't even say it. You don't have to apologize anymore." And I was like, I wasn't really going to, but he was sure that I was just going to fall all over myself again. But he had a Cheap Trick shirt on. I brought up the topic Cheap Trick. It was like, let's talk about anything except for me jacking up your presentation. So we talked about Cheap Trick until we both got out of there. But and the snow was flying that day.
Yeah,
it's beautiful up there. You live in a beautiful place, and it's the Rim, right? That's what it's called.
We have the Rim up here, but yeah, the White Mountains. It's just awesome. I love it here. It's gorgeous, and I just love being the dude that puts on things up here. It's a lot of fun. People enjoy it. I like seeing them enjoy it. It's just cool. Speaking of the expo, you said you were coming, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Table there. Yes,
so we'll have you there.
I will be promoting it on my show.
Yeah, all about preppers and survival stuff. We'll have our speakers. John,
you should funnel some of your speakers my way for my show in the build-up.
Well,
we're just not doing it yet because we're letting the holidays pass, and then got our big Area 51 trip, and then after that's kind of how the year's looking for my show. Not to interrupt you, but we're going to get past the holidays. Then we've got this big push with the Area 51 trip, and then we'll come back, and then we'll dovetail right into the Prepper Expo up in Pine Top.
Right. Remind me about the end of January when we get off the air.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So which we have to do. We've been going for a while now. An hour and a half already.
35 minutes.
Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, the expo will be a lot of fun. You can go to survivalprepperexpo.com to learn more, or if you know anybody that would like to be a vendor. We don't have many slots left. What else? A Disclosure Con. Go to disclosurecon.com. You can see most of it's the event that just happened. I still haven't got to upgrading it for 2019 yet. I am torn between 2 weekends, either the last weekend in September or the same date as last year, October 5th and 6th. But I need to talk to some of my speakers on which weekend works best for them, since they'll be the main speakers. What else? That's about it.
And you'll have the Sholo Film Festival next year as well, too.
Correct. I think that's January 17th. It starts and it goes on for 5 days.
So you separated those two events way out.
And that's why I haven't, specifically said it is going to be on October 5th to 6th, or it will be on September 28th or 9th, whatever it is. Because we were trying to spread it, get a nice little break in between, because we did Disclosure Con, and then not even 6 days, not even that. It was 4 days later, we started the Sholo Film Festival, and that was 4 days long. So, and I still haven't completely wound down from that. I'm still kind of going from it, because got to go right into the next year. These things don't, I know a lot of people that promote and they put stuff out, just a couple weeks or a month before. stuff like this, you do. It's hard work, and on top of that, having a show. Um, Disclosure Con took me 6 months to put together.
Wow.
And Martina Webster, who owns Darmar Productions, she puts on the Sholo, or the White Mountains Film Festival, is what we're calling it now.
Uh-huh.
That took a full year. I actually have to get out there and start finding some sponsors for that one as well. So I'm trying to find sponsors and vendors and stuff for my event, for 2 events that I'm doing, and then helping Martina as a sponsor and her assistant on the film festival. So I'm keeping busy up here, keeping events coming. We've got actual motion pictures that are going to be coming up here into filming. They've already said they are. One of the other film resource coordinators up here, like myself, her name is Angela Duncan. She just mentioned on one of the interviews from the film festival that she's bringing a $58 million series up here.
Whoa.
Yeah, so you may want to think about a vacation home up here, and I'll tell you when the audition dates are.
Screw that, I'll move up.
Right? We're going to make it a little, I don't want to say Hollywood, but a nice little movie community up here.
Yeah, no, you've got great locations, and it is cinematic views up there, to be sure.
Oh, yes, it is gorgeous, and untouched from the movie camera. So, well, you know, that's what it was. The bait to get those people, those industry people up here, was the film festival, and it worked. Most film festivals, if they're lucky, get 3 to 4 maybe movies. The first year we had 51. That's 5-1. So,
no, it was really successful.
Yeah, next year we hope it'll be more. Anyway, I'm looking at Freddie. I showed you Freddie a minute ago. Okay, everybody, I'm going to show. I don't ever show this, but I'm going to just show the world right now. This is Freddie. This is a rock. Okay, it's Freddie the Rock. Look at this. Okay, he's got his mouth. Right. Wait, this is weird. It's like going the opposite direction I'm moving.
Oh wait, that's the Jason noise, not the Freddie noise.
Yeah. So yes, this is
Laurie Moriarty.
And I think there were jewels in there in the eyes. I mean, that's not carved out. Crazy. That's like there were some kind of rock formation or pellets or something. But yeah, it's some creepy stuff, and it's a heavy rock. Anyway,
defying gravity and spinning on your mailbox up there in Pine Top.
That would be kind of cool. Hey, we got Josh Thomas. He's going to be talking about stuff like that. You know, things, you know, anti-gravity and wireless electricity, the equilibrious grid, not equilibrium, equilibrious. Yeah, he's coming next Thursday. And
is that associated with ley lines at all? Does that have anything to do with that? Or is
all of it? I mean, he was with the Nikola Tesla Science Society out of Colorado.
Oh,
so yeah, he's a little genius. Yeah, you didn't get to meet him.
He's a little genius.
No, he is. Huh? He's just I call him one of the most brilliant minds of our time. But didn't you get to meet him? He was like right behind your wall at one point.
No, I had my head stuck up my rear end. I was trying to just keep my booth going and keep my thing straight.
Yeah,
but it was a good time. I mean, yeah. No, I didn't. I met some people, and it was all kind of a blur. You know, when you're doing something like that, when you're making an appearance instead of being an attendee, it's like hosting a party. You never have as much fun when you're hosting a party as you do when you're attending. It's a little more work on the hosting end.
Speaking of party,
but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, speaking of party,
yeah.
Did you hear who's going to be on 1028 Live on Tuesday night?
Kool and the Gang.
That's right. Not the whole band, but
the whole band.
Yeah, the one who Sir Earl Tune. He wrote Celebration, Get Down on It, Ladies Night, a bunch of others.
Do you know that that's one of the most played songs in history? Celebration that has made mega bucks because Celebration gets played everywhere for every kind of event,
and they still on tour,
and they still tour.
Yes. Now Earl, he was the keyboardist and he, the lyricist and everything, but he's kind of branching off. He's going on he is on a spiritual path, and he's got a new album called The Old Rugged Cross. But we're going to be talking about that, his career, his epic moments in life, and then we're also going to be doing a telethon. So we're going to be raising money for his Dallas
I know what it
charity.
is. Can I say it?
Yeah.
Coats for kids.
Give a kid a coat. Close.
Give
Yes.
a kid a coat. Okay,
Yes.
I was close. I
And
knew that it was putting coats on underprivileged kids.
so you don't have to send money. You can just send some old jackets that you've got in your closet that you may have outgrown or just got a new one. You don't need that anymore. So that's what we're going to be asking. And it's going to be the week before Christmas. So
Is there a way to make those donations locally, or how's that work? Do you know?
um well, I gotta talk to him about that and see how that. I don't know. It's his organization. I don't know if they have
Right.
like a
Make him
protocol.
answer the hard questions, damn it.
I know, right?
Earl, how
Yeah.
do we get the damn coats to you, Earl?
Yeah.
Come on.
So it'll probably just be, take it to the mailbox place, pack it in a box, and ship it to, his PO box or whatever. I don't know, but we'll have all that information, and we'll have the chat room open. I've closed the chat room, so if anybody's chatting on there, I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention because I wanted to not take up as much bandwidth as I needed. So I closed out that window. But he will be here. He's going to go Yahoo because that's what he does, and I love him for it. I've known him for years now, and he is an inspirational man. He is he's been him and Thaddeus Jackson from the Parliament P-Funk, world famous bass player. Those two gentlemen have been like my godfathers growing up.
Oh, well, I have a little tie-in. I once worked a gig for Ron Cat. It was Ron Cat opening for Morris Day in the Times, and I ran lights for them in Grand Rapids, Michigan, in downtown Grand Rapids, Michigan. So Ron Cat comes out, and they have their kind of pseudo-Egyptian funkadelic Parliament outfits on, which was just so cool to see. It rained like a mofo. Oh my God, we had to shut that show down. I thought someone was going to get electrocuted. That's a whole other story. But yeah, I was at the side of the stage doing lights for more stay in the time.
Oh yeah, I used to do that performance at the Bauhaus Beach Club, more stay in the times.
Yeah,
and do the whole dance.
Oh yeah,
and of course, wow, I was looking at that on the camera. I looked like Farmer John.
I like that.
I didn't have the cool R&B look to it that I wanted, I just lost my brother cards.
Right.
So anywho,
take us seriously.
Right. Well, let's see. We're about almost out of time.
You're driving.
Oh yeah, and
it's also, your chicken.
Also, I am going to be doing, I don't know, what do you think I should do on Christmas? I was thinking, should I do Q&A for all the singles like me that are home alone on Christmas? And we can just chat, or should I just play a previous episode? Or, I don't know, because the following, that Thursday, we're going to do the 2019 prediction show, end of the year show.
Right. So
what do you think I should do?
I think that you should go on the air and talk to the singles, because I think people who are single during major holidays like that really can use the moral support. Right. So if you have the time and inclination, and if you are facing yourself spending the holiday alone, then I would say create some temporary community with some other folks, and and celebrate Christmas together, and look to the positive. Being single is not a nightmare.
Oh, I got an idea. So Christmas, we get people on. I give them my link. They got to message me first, just pre-schedule, and then I'll put them into the waiting room, and we do a talent show to raise money or coats for Sir Earl. Of course, it won't be the same episode that he's on, but it's a holiday, and
Can I beatbox on that? I can.
Yeah, sure.
And never mind.
That's just better than I can do.
Out of myself right now.
I do it and then there's like snot everywhere. So, well, cool. All right, so we'll look forward to having you again on.
Sir, anytime. I'm happy to come on your show.
Cool. The 27th. I think Tuesday the 1st, I will probably do a replay because everybody's gonna be hungover anyway.
Oh yeah.
And then on Thursday, the 3rd of January, I've got Troy from Off Grid Box, and it's a company from Boston, and they have a steel box container. Like they're making steel box homes, shipping containers, but it's 6 by 6 by 6. or 5x5x5.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And inside it's got a water pump, not sterilizer, purifier, and all this stuff for water.
Mm-hmm.
And then on above, it's got huge solar panels, and this can supply energy and water for an entire village or town.
Wow.
Size. And I'm going to have him on the show, and he's going to talk about it and see if we can get this out here for maybe school systems or
Oh yeah,
HOA
that would be.
neighborhoods. Who knows?
There's your prepper thing right there, man. Show
Exactly,
that.
exactly. So we have him, and Off Grid Magazine
Yes.
is become one of the official title sponsors of the Survival Prepper Expo.
That's awesome. I hope I get to meet them. Remember Mysterious Forces Live, prepper people?
Oh no, absolutely. Well, we'll be talking about all the government stuff, and then we have John D'Souza, and then we also have Ed Caldron, who is Mr. Mission Impossible. This guy trains the military, the feds, the Mexican cartel. I mean, he's been undercover with people in south of the border. He does security for dignitaries and all these people, right?
Does he write books and have videos on YouTube?
He does have videos. I don't know if he has books. I'm sure he does. And he's just the nicest, happiest, smiling guy. But he will hurt
real
you.
professional, real slick.
Yeah. So he'll be on, and he's going to do like a MythBusters thing.
Oh,
he's going to say, okay, so that thing you thought,
handcuffs and
but he's going to go, that trick you saw on YouTube that does this. Okay, let's do this. Okay, didn't work. Well, let's do it the right way. Let me show you what really works, and what not to do. So that's going to be a lot of fun. He's going to be doing that at the event. Wow. But he's also going to come on the show before, and just the fact that Off Grid Magazine, they're putting us in their February issue. So that's national promotion right there. Yeah. So yeah, we're really grateful for them. John Schwartz and his team at the magazine have been amazing. I'm seeing a good long relationship there. So
no, that's good. I think that's a good thing for you.
Yeah. So
you book these guests yourself?
Oh, yeah. This is 1028 Productions right now.
That's the headquarters, baby.
Yeah. Well, the studio is cold. Yeah. So, and I'd see these shows. Yeah, I should do a backdrop like you have. But I had the whole set. I've got the couches and the desks and everything in the studio, but there's no heating in the studio. So
yikes.
And all these other shows, they're just doing it from their desks and their houses too, and they're getting 500,000-600,000 subscribers.
Right.
Anyway, all right.
Oh no, I had to have a curtain. Trust me, what you don't see, people, is a frame made out of 2.5-inch PVC pipe that I've glued together within this room to hang that behind me.
Nice. Yes. Well, folks, don't forget. Yeah, if you haven't done so. What?
I love you.
Oh, you're so sweet. I love it too. This is Off Grid, folks. This is last month's issue. The new one I should be getting here in the mail shortly. They just started my subscription, so I'm waiting on that for my first one, which is this month's. And this magazine is awesome. It's like each issue is a training manual. It will get you out of some binds.
They should make different issues. One, how to hide from the Chinese, and the other one, how to hide from the Iranians.
Right. Well,
they'll never make it here.
No, they won't. No, Trump won't let them. So, and then the last booking that I can announce is Rockefit Abigail. And I know.
Bless you.
Her name, she's Israeli, and it's Rakafet, last name Abergel, Abergel. And I was surprisingly, she said, one of the only people at the film festival that said it right the first time. And she is an amazing actress that is up and coming. She's a writer, producer.
Oh, cool.
Let me just put it this way. The movie that she had in the film festival was called Jax in Love, Jax in Love. Okay. And if you can find it online, or if you can, purchase it or whatever, do it. If you're at a film festival and you see it's there, go see it. Now, granted, all the movies that are that were amazing, but I'm just saying because she's coming on my show, so I'm focusing on her right now.
Right.
But yeah, she will be here on uh, January 10th, talking about her new movies coming out in Jackson Love, the film festivals. I mean, you know, when you see a movie poster, they have the little film festival logos, the little Roman leaves, you know,
Uh-huh.
and then it says best film, best actor, all that. Her
Right,
poster
right.
is full. Oh, I think almost 100 awards. It's just like you can see the word Jackson Love, and then it's just rows after
Wow.
rows after rows after rows after rows of all these awards.
That
Amazing actress, amazing writer, and she's going to be on my show. We're going to talk about some stuff. We had even talked about. Well, I kind of planted the seed saying, well, you know, I got to act with you soon before you get too famous. And she's like, okay, we will. So there's that little promise. And
yeah.
then um I don't
You're
I'm
the
not gonna
big
say
time, man.
yeah, huh?
You're the big time.
Oh no, 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 no,
You
no,
are.
no, no, no. I just have a webcam, that's all. So but I will say this now, you weren't at the film festival, you were at your disclosure con, but
That's correct.
we had somebody perform at the after party, a local, and she's phenomenal. She
Mm.
sings Pink songs, if not better than Pink.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
And Pink is
the
a
range
fantastic vocalist.
ability is just
Wow.
flawless. Now, of course,
Very
she's
cool.
so modest. She'd be like, "Oh, hey, have me sing in the morning and tell me different."
Right.
She's a sweetheart, but not people don't know much about me, I guess. But at one time, I used to be a musical artist. Had 2 albums, a music video, and a few other things. Go ahead, search me, find me, whatever you want to do. Yeah, I'm on
You were a
there.
pimp in New
I,
Orleans too, man.
I was big in Japan.
Oh,
So
big in Japan.
I played an old song for her, and she goes, "You need to remake this. You need to do it again. You know, update it." And I said, "I'd rather have somebody else do it." I said, "Why don't you do it?" And she goes, "Oh, I'd love to, but how about we do it as a duet?" So
Let's
I might dabble in music again. You know,
nice.
I figure
Oh,
I'm doing everything else right now. Why not?
let me play bass for you. I play bass guitar.
Well, I need a band. Well, you know what? The conspiracy talk show band.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All of the hosts, we all play different instruments and we have our own little conspiracy songs and stuff. So, oh
The
crap,
secret cabal.
we have gone way over time.
All right, I'm sorry.
No, no, it's my fault. We're just having too good of a time, but we've done my first full 2 hour show.
Good.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna put you on hold, so I'll come back to you in a little bit. All right.
Thank you so much. Good night,
No
everybody.
problem. All right. Thank you. All right. So how do I do this? I know there's a little button.
Little button. I'll
And
do like a
wait,
real
wait, hold
mouse.
on. You want your hold on. Wait. 1, 2, and 3. Do it. All right. So that was Natasha Nyxx from Mysterious Forces Live. You can check her out on YouTube at Mysterious Forces Live, or you can check her out also on Facebook. She does have some big names on her show, and no holds bars. I mean, she doesn't hold back, and that's what's so awesome. So I think I've spilled all the beans for tonight. I have not been on the news or YouTube to see what's gone on in the past few hours, other than the hearing that was going on today, which from the few clips I saw got pretty nasty. So I'll probably be watching that a little bit later tonight. Also, I told you about all the guests, and I still have another 40 to call. Lots and lots of people. And it will grow. Area 51 trip coming up soon. We will give details about that. Yeah, that's it. 2 hour show. Wow, longest one yet. Hopefully, we won't go too long like that on a normal average kind of thing. So, love to my mom. Love to all of you, my family, friends, all my viewers out there, all of my new subscribers. Thank you so much. The show isn't really a show without you. It would just be a video diary. And yeah, it's cooler when you guys interact. So, Doc Skinner, 1028 live. I'm out. And for Miss D'Souza, ciao bella. Whoop, wait, hold on. How do I do this?